All right, now what we're going to do in this video is we're going to talk about a run game out of empty. Now, a lot of times when people get an empty, it's usually a pass first formation. But in our offense, when we go empty, we can run the ball or throw the ball. And it puts some stress on the defense because they got to figure out a way to cover all five of these receivers. And so we're going to talk about in this video is empty, a running game, because a lot of people already know of a passing game out of empty. We're going to talk about our run game. And so the first play we're going to talk about is we're going to talk about our rocket sweep, our what we call toss. And for us now, our empty, let me define what our empty for us is. We still have two slots here because again, that allows us to keep our running game while still having five receivers able to get the ball here. And so toss play for us, a lot of empty teams or teams that go empty, they like to run bubble screens to force the defense to cover the perimeter. Now, for us, this is like our bubble screen. This is our rocket sweep. And we just feel that it's easier to block than a bubble screen. And it sets up our other run plays. So that's why I like the rocket sweep or the toss better than the bubble in my football world here. So let's talk about the toss play, our rocket sweep. Now, against a one high, we're just going to just show you against an odd front here, but the rules still apply versus an even front. When you have one high safety, you can run this either side against a one high safety. Now, if you feel that this is their better defender, perimeter defender, then you probably want to run weak side here, depending on what they do. Now, you can also do all kinds of games with them where you put the empty to the boundary and then run to the field, things like that. But as a general rule, for one high, you can run either side because you normally have numbers on both sides here. Okay, so we're going to draw this up to the strong side. Just because a lot of times when you run to the strong side, three receivers, they're going to have to usually do something to defend that. So if they roll or something like this would already be pretty much a pre-rolled down look here. And then that allows you to play some games on the backside with this receiver. So we'll draw up our toss play. This would be, for us, it would be toss right. So we go motion here. Then once he gets to the quarterback's heels, he's flat. He gets flat. We get the pitch. We get down the hash, then numbers and sidelines. We're trying to keep this wide here. Okay, on the perimeter, we're going to stalk out here. We're going to stalk here. We're going to try actually to get his outside number here. So trying to stalk to his outside number, just making sure he doesn't just fly in here and blow our rocket up. We're flat and fast here on the edge, and we have some other ways to block that, which I'll show you in a little bit. All right, and our tackle is going to pull 5 steps, and then he's going to turn it up inside, 5 steps. Now, if this guy flies out, he's going to engage him and just kind of dip his inside shoulder, run around him to make sure we just wall him off. 5 steps and in. This guy here, our center is going to just block the play side A. Just cut it off so that we don't get cheap shots on our quarterback. We're going to pass that on the backside. That way it allows us, if we want to throw a hitch, if you want to do that on the backside, you can still do that fairly simply. And that's pretty much it. Okay. Couple blocking adjustments. Now we can also do the same thing weak. Obviously, it's the same rules. He would be flat and fast, and he's stalking. So against this look, depending on what this guy, how good this guy is, that might be your better way to run it. So I want to show you our all crack adjustment. I really like this one too. So be all crack. Now this takes some reps to work on. So if you're not very good at it, just block it straight up. We were not as good at this all crack. I like it on paper better, but we just didn't execute it quite as well. We're better straight up. So all crack means these two are going to crack, and we're going to pull flat and kick out the corner, and that's where the alley is going to be. I like that because it makes a nice. It's the same thing as like power blocking, block down, kick out that I really like. So that's all crack. That's how we would do that. All right, now let's get to some film here. All right, this is against a 3-4 look that we're seeing here. Now they have not rolled down, so whenever you get a too high secondary, you always want to run to the 3 receiver side against a too high secondary because you usually have numbers or some sort of leverage. If you look here, now granted this team was really good. They were state runner ups, and so we do have some numbers. We got really good angle on the safety. If we get a good stalk here, it's going to be kind of hard to hook this guy, but we can still work on getting flat and fast. And that also, if he's going to stay wide, that's going to keep him out of the interior run game as well. So we're going to run toss here. We don't do it picture perfect, but we have a really nice gain. Okay, we'll show it full speed once. He pitches it. Now, I don't like it when people cut up quite as much, but since we had the leverage out there, we're in good shape, because we can get this safety block pretty simply. And our tackle needs to turn in. Now, he's running downfield because he wants to hit a little guy. He likes that, but he really wants to look inside and get that. Same thing with our guard. Our guards and tackles, they when we ran that this year, they like to just run down the field and hit the small guys. Like, no, we need you to turn and cut off the pursuit here. That's what we need. Now, our slot needs to try it. Now, he's really flying out. So if they want to fly out, just take him where he wants to go, which our slot does. Okay, then we cut up. Now, our back should probably get back outside, but he did a nice job. After we cut up, we need to kind of get outside, but he did a nice job of just finding where the hole was and just running. And again, this is a really good team, a state runner-up team, and we open up the game with a 20-yard gain. I'll take that anytime. Okay, so that's against a too high look. Now, this next one I want to show you, too high look here, but this guy right here is going to roll down. Now, if you look, we still have numbers. We still have him flat and fast. We have our this would be our B back, our fullback would block him. Now, just a note about personnel real quickly. If you want to sub a receiver in, which we start doing that at the end of the year, you can sub a receiver in for this if you want to do a lot of heavy empty package, if you just want to stay empty most of the time. Or if you just want to be able to keep the same personnel, this would be your fullback that would just move from here to out here. So your call on the personnel, how you want to do that. All right, so you're going to see these guys roll down. Now, I would like to see him push up a little bit, meet him here, but you still get the idea, and we still get him blocked here. All right, now just look right now at the angles we have on the perimeter. I mean, they've got 7 in the box, so a spread team would be throwing bubble right now. If this guy was out here, we'd be throwing bubbles and stuff. We like rocket sweeping this if we can get the edge. All right, so here's our rocket. Rolls up, but we still have numbers. We still get him blocked. Now, I'd like to see him keep it more outside, not cut up too soon, but he ends up gaining yards. But I'd rather him get out here where we have all this green grass. Again, we need our guards and tackles looking inside to cut off pursuit. That's their job on this play. It's not running downfield hitting the little guys. So looks like our tackle stays on the end, or he just doesn't really touch anybody really. Let's see. And he just kind of stays on him because he is running. So I guess that's all right if he's running. Now he's getting pushed back, which I don't like, but at least he's getting in the way. That's the big thing. You just got to get in the way. Now our guard, yeah, he's coming around. He looks in. There he is. That really wasn't a bad job by our guard. Look at our guard pull around and look in. Cut off the pursuit. There we go. So as you can see, too high, you want to run to the 3 receiver side. It's too high because you got numbers. 1 high, you can go either way. Even if they're rolling in that too high, you're still fine. All right. So we're going to go next to, we're going to run our ISO. Okay, so ISO is probably against an odd front is my favorite way to attack the inside. The great thing about what we do that I really like is that we can get the ball to our quarterback or our slots here. So if your quarterback is not a good runner, then you can still run the ball to these slots and do your passing game out of empty. If you can't run or pass, then you may need another quarterback or just go to the T and you'll be fine. So ISO, we're going to run ISO right to our A back here. So we call this A ISO right. So our rules on the front side here, we're going to Oscar or Charlie. Now what we're looking for is the B gap open or closed, and right here the B gap is open. So it's Oscar. We're going to block on. So this tackle needs to take a really good step with his left foot here, okay, and turn him out here. Now if he wants to pinch, then we're just going to, instead of trying to turn him out, we're just going to drive him down the field. Because it's going to be really hard if he's coming with his momentum going this way to get your butt around, turn him, and then move him back out. That's not going to work really well. So just drive him down the field if he's going to try and pinch. We've had success with that in the past. So if it's an Oscar call, which means we'd be blocking on, he doesn't have anybody on him. So we're going to double to the backside linebacker. Now our backside, we're going to scoop play side. So this nose is really have some issues here. Okay, scoop play side, cut off anything in the B gap, make them go around you. Now our Z back here is going to insert, and we're going to ISO that play side linebacker. Now we're hoping that our rocket, because he motions, that he's going to step out and we can get underneath of him. Now if not, you may have to start running the quarterback or running trap, and we'll show you how we do that in just a little bit. So motion, and then go right tight to the double, get through right there. That's how we do it. Now on the outside, if you want to be trendy, you can run RPOs. We've done that in the past. I'd prefer just everybody stock block, okay? But you can do RPOs as well. We've done this before where we have a hitch here and we have a bubble here. I'd actually prefer a now screen. I think it's a little easier, but now screen here. Okay, your quarterback basically pre-snap is looking. Are they one-on-one here? Is he off? Do we have this hitch? Now, if this guy, if it's one-on-one and they're off, then yes, you can throw the hitch. Okay, so we could throw that hitch if this guy was off. Over here, if it's 2-on-2, if for instance, if they just come in here, they don't have anybody covering, you can just throw this now screen out here. You can do that as well. And then if that's covered in this cover, then you should have numbers to run your game. Now, I don't like doing all that because I would rather just block it straight up. If we want to get the ball on the edge again, we're going to run our quick game or we're going to run rocket sweep. So there's really, it's kind of redundant for me. All right, so that's our ISO. Now, if we want to run to the quarterback, it's not a problem. Just call quarterback ISO right. This works better as far as keeping, with it, because you have that nice rocket sweep fake, and that's going to get people going laterally instead of coming downhill. It's going to force those linebackers to go laterally, so we might get him out of the box as well. Okay, so and then our quarterback would just get the snap, and he's just going to hit it, catch, hit it, and go. So that's quarterback ISO right there. All right, so we'll show you the film on this. Okay, we're going to skip here to our ISO. All right, now again, this is the same team. Now this is when they have their young guys in, but we still have a good gain, and it's a good look against this front here. So we're gonna again, now if you were running that RPO, you could probably throw the now screen if you wanted to, but I prefer if I want to run inside, we're going to run inside. Okay. All right, so you see we're going to try and double here. The guy, the nose picks a side. Our center standing up, he's getting pushed back. We don't like that, but he still just is able to wall him off. Okay, and he picks the backside, which means our guard should go to the linebacker. We get this guy walled off, but I prefer his head be inside so that way we can't fight back across his face. But the back hits it hard, and we gain a pretty good gain off of that. So again, if they're going to leave 5 inside like that, then we can attack them inside with ISO. And against odd fronts, I prefer ISO. Just because it hits faster, it's easier to block, and you can. It's pretty good against most fronts. Now, one thing I didn't show you on ISO, if it is a closed front. So, for instance, let's move some guys around here on the defense here. All right, let's move some of these guys around. Okay, so let's just say he's over here, and we get this number here. So it's closed. Bring this guy over here just for fun. So then we're going to cross block it. It's a Charlie call. We're going to cross block. Charlie is for cross. So cross here, and then we lead up through. So that's what we do against, if the B gap is closed, we are going to Charlie. We're going to cross block it. That way we have angles, and whatever situation that we are in, we'll be in good shape. So it gives us rules against any, because most of the time the B gap's either going to be open or closed. So you can block it accordingly. All right, next one we're going to talk about is we're going to talk about a trap. Trap and gut. Now for us, trap and gut are the same thing for the line. It just helps our backs know if you are going to the same side. So trap is 2, so you're getting the ball on the same side of the quarterback. Gut, you're getting the ball on the opposite side of the quarterback. So let's say we're going to run gut to the let's go gut left. We're going to go Z gut left. All right, so to the left we're going to have particularly if these guys have been folding back, we're just going to block them. Just if they keep folding back into the play, we'll block them. Now, if they keep folding back, obviously we want to run rocket because they're going to have a hard time trying to figure out whether they're going to fold back or they're going to chase the ball on the perimeter there. So our rule for our tackle is first backer inside, which would be him. So he's going to go to the B gap. I'm sorry, he's going to go heel depth and climb. And so heel depth, that means he doesn't want to just run straight at him because these guys most likely are filling. So it's heel depth and climb to him. That block is probably going to happen closer to here. Okay, his rule is gap double backer. No one has gap. He's going to double. So gap, double, and then we're going to double to the backside linebacker. Very similar to what we did with ISO. Going to pull and trap first thing past the A gap, which would be there. He's got to get up into the line to make sure he gets that trap. And then he's going to cut off the B gap and up. So I say B gap and up. So cut off the B gap, and if no one's there, he's going to go up. Now, this would be gut. So this would be Z gut. So we're going to go across the quarterback's face. He's going to get behind the quarterback, get a little depth so that he can aim right here. I say the brown spot of the center, right down the center. And then once we get here, we're going to start kind of bending it a little bit. And I like to say cloth to cloth, get right off that block right there and get it vertical. The more vertical you can get this, the better it's going to be. All right, so that's our Z trap, our Z gut, left. Obviously, we can run it to the other back as well. Now, just to keep everything drawn up, I can also run a trap right. So trap is to it. So trap left, trap left, and he's going to get it here and then bend it back this way. So that way, if you got that hard motion, teams start flowing, you can come back against that motion. It gives you something without having to run your counter tray, which can sometimes be a feast or famine play depending on what their front's doing. Sometimes they can kind of blow that up. So the trap's a little bit of a safer play. So it's something that give you a back away from motion, so you can motion and then hand it to them and go back the other way. If it's quarterback, you can do it to the motion. I like calling, if I call it the quarterback, if it's to the motion, I'll call it trap. So we go the rocket motion here, quarterback trap left. Obviously, he can hit it faster. What's one advantage of quarterback trap is that he can hit it faster. And you've got the rocket motion getting everybody flying out of there. Okay, or if you wanted to run it away from motion, this would be quarterback gut left. He goes this way, and quarterback will just get it. Doesn't even have to fake it. Just get it and go because we want to hit that fast. So that's quarterback gut right there. All right, so we'll show the film on that. All right, here's the trap. This would be Z, so this would be empty right. Z, this is our Z back. Z trap right. And this is a tough look to run trap against because we got a 3-0-3, which is really tough. But we decided to do this because we've run rocket, and so we want to try and keep them honest in the middle. We've already run rocket a couple times, so just to try and keep them honest here. Get a decent gain here. Okay, so this is trap because it's same side as the motion here for our back. Okay, don't get much movement, and we come off the double team pretty quickly because he does pick a side. Now our tackle needs to cut this 68 off. We don't want him chasing our trapper. Okay, actually that's not the tackle. The tackle is right here cutting. He needs to just cut him. He can cut him down, and we're blocking right here on the edge. We got to maintain that block, or we'll get a better gain if we maintain our block. We don't hang on the block for very long. See, we're getting disengaging. We actually have it blocked up well. Now this tackle can go on down to, they're playing that 3 safety look like teams are doing now against spread teams. They were doing that to us. So this tackle can come down and get him, and we got it blocked up really nice. It's just we get this backside end that came through. If our slot would have stayed on his block a little bit better, we probably could have gotten more yards, but it wasn't a bad gain there. Okay, so that's another way to attack the inside with empty. A lot of times they're going to be on the perimeter. We've showed you how to do with the toss, the perimeter. We've showed you how to attack the inside with ISO and trap. And now I want to show you counter tray. This is how your misdirection here. All right. Now I'll usually just leave that guy on a hitch just for fun here. All right, counter tray. This is your home run ball. We've had a lot of success with counter tray. All right, now the danger about counter trey, like I said, kind of feast or famine, is this guy back here. If you are really concerned about him, we can make a bam call where the center will block back and get him. I don't like to do that a whole lot if you don't have to. But so if you're getting blown up, that might be a consideration. Just go ahead and bam it. But otherwise, just block it straight up. So our straight up rules on this play. So for counter trey, we're gonna run it away from the motion, obviously, because it's a counter play. So our play side, let's start with our play side blocking rules. We're going to do our straight up rules first, and then we'll talk about some blocking adjustments. Our straight up rules, we make an Okie call whenever we get this front here because we only got 5 people in the box here. Okay, and so we don't want to waste blockers, so we make an Okie call. All right, so normally the rule for our last man on the line is gap double backer. That means anybody in my gap? No. Anybody to double? Next down alignment, nope. Then we're going to usually backside backer. Okay, and we'll hold on to that thought for a second. Guards the same is on gap double backer. Nobody's on me. Nope. Nobody in the gap. Nope. We're going to look to double to the backside backer. And I think you're seeing what my problem here. I've got 2 guys going to the backside backer. So when we make an Okie call, we're going the tackle is going to go to the front side backer. Okay. So no one's in his gap. No one to double. He's going to go to the backer because we've made the Okie call. All right. Now, guard's going to pull and kick. Now, who he kicks out, he's going to kick up first man, head up to outside of our last man on the line, which would be our tackle here. Now, the reason why this is hard against an odd front is you can either kick him out or him out, depending on what this guy does. Okay, because the rule is on the front side is anybody crosses your face, you take him. So if he stunts here, he crosses his face, he's going to take him, which means our kick out is going to be wider now, which that's usually advantageous. You kind of want that to happen. It's really where you want your kick out to happen because it times up a little bit better, but it's not always going to be that. So if he goes out, then our kick out is going to be here and it's going to hit a little bit tighter. Okay. So first man head up to outside. So let's say this guy goes out and he lets us down on to crush the linebacker there, which is great. That'd be fun. That does happen. All right. We're going to pull and kick here. Oh, missed. Sometimes that happens in real life too. Pull and kick. We're going to pull and lead up through the hole looking inside. This guy a lot of times will come up the field, so we'll be able to come underneath him. That happens a lot when we run this play. They don't just sit back here. They usually blitz. So he's gonna get the handoff underneath, go this and go to the house. The quarterback's just gonna open, come to him, hand the ball off. All right. This guy here, this is kind of scary. This is if he's a problem, then you can always bam it. Okay, but I like blocking it straight up, and we really haven't had too many problems with that. Okay, so that's counter trey. Now, one thing that you can do if you're running it with a quarterback, you can solve that problem a little easier. So you can have this slot cut him so he can't chase it. So that's one way to fix that problem is quarterback trey. He takes his step and then goes that way. So that's one way to fix that problem is quarterback trey. All right, now the other adjustment that I like against this front. So if you're having trouble with this right here, you're really having trouble. They're messing this up because they're doing all kinds of stuff with this guy. And he's just causing problems in, out. We don't know what he's doing. So what we'll do is make an out call. An out call, because we have the extra guy against an odd front, we can make an out call. Okay, so he's just going to block out there. It might influence him if they're reading. Okay, if they're not, still going to be a little bit tighter. So he's going to pull and always kick out the end, always in an arc call. That way it clears that up. You know who you're going to kick out now. Okay, he's going to pull and lead up through. The only issue with this is that it may hit tight. If this guy's pinching, we're still kicking him out. So that counter is going to hit awfully tight. So that's kind of the trade-off with the arc calls, that it will be tighter. So whatever one you're going to do, you're going to have to rep either one of them. But it can be a really nice play, particularly when you got these backers just flying out of here. It really makes it nice to run the counter underneath. Okay, so that's our counter trey, and we'll show you some film of that. And again, this is a big play for us. All right, here it is right here. All right, big play. Now we're going to run this to the left. We're going to go in motion. Sometimes I like running it back to this side because it widens the defender out like it did here. If he's widened out, then that's kind of limits what this guy can do. So that's that if he's clear out here, then you really don't have a contained guy. So it makes it a little bit challenging because the kick out guy would be clear out here for the defense, and that's just not good. So I like running it back to this side just simply because we widen the defender out of the box. Now you can run it either way. So what we did here is we're running to the left. Okay. Now we don't do a good job on our double. We kind of get pushed back by our center, and I don't care for that. Our kick out doesn't get a ton of movement, but there's a little bit of a crease. Okay. So you see, we blocked back. We were able to get that back block here. Okay. These ends back here. These guys are just they're not really chasing. And you see the motion from these guys, it stops them. Look, this is why they don't chase a ton, because you see this, he opens up, they're thinking pitch, so they stop. Now, we don't get great kick out. Not terrible. Now, there is a hole here, but our back decides to bounce it. So there's the hole right here. And then we can get down here, but he decides to bounce it. He's a good athlete. We're getting some good effort out of here. Okay. And I'm not going to yell at a kid for scoring a touchdown. Okay. But the hole is actually right here. We got a decent hole there. All right. And then he's just going to be an athlete and do what he does and score a touchdown. So, yeah. So counter trey is your home run ball. That really, man, that's really a punch in the mouth right there for home runs. We scored lots of big plays off of that. Okay. Next thing we're going to show you is speed option. Now, we didn't run speed option. I'm going to run this to the weak side simply just because we got numbers out there. We didn't run speed option the last time I ran this offense because we tried to put it in camp, and you know how that goes sometimes. Just we weren't able to get the right guy read and all that stuff, mainly because we were trying to do a run with a tight end, and with no tight end, it confused our quarterbacks. So we scrapped it, didn't end up running. But if I do run this again, I will be running speed option because I think it's a nice changeup off of your rocket sweep. Rocket sweep's your fastball. Your speed option is more your changeup here. And so, and it's another way to run power. Since you don't really have a true kick out here, you're going to have to run a speed option so that you can option the kick out man instead of kicking him out. So we're just going to go ahead and run speed option. Now, great thing about this is not a lot of new teaching on the perimeter because you run rocket sweep, so it's the same blocking. We're going to stalk flat and fast here, just like we normally do. Now they're going to block power on the inside, so it's an Okie call, so we're going to go here. All right, guard's going to pull, cut it up. Now he's going to try and cut it up inside, but if they spike, then you're going to have to go around them. B gap and hinge, and block. I don't want to do RPOs right now. RPOs make me mad sometimes. So we're gonna gear it down a little bit. We're not gonna go full out rocket motion like we were just flying like we do with rocket. We're gonna slow it down so that we can get a pitch here. Now your read is gonna be first man head up to outside of the tackle, which would be him. That's our read. Okay. And so if he's out, quarterback keeps it. If he pinches or he's in, we're gonna pitch it outside. Now depending on your quarterback, how you're gonna teach this. If your quarterback's a better runner, you're going to say you're going to keep it every time unless you can't. And if he's not a great runner, you're going to pitch it every time unless you can't. Okay, so that's how you want to teach it depending on your quarterback there. So the footwork for the quarterback, I really like the the power read where they're riding that. I like that same footwork, but he's going to keep the ball right up here by his chest. He's going to shuffle, just like the footwork of the power read. So shuffle, two shuffles, shuffle, and make his decision. If he's out, you're in. Take your step, cut it up the field right now. If he's in, you pitch it out. So that's kind of how I like to do it. I like the two-handed chest pass like we do with Rocket. We two-handed chest pass it. So I'm not going to just zing it out there like we do with Rocket, but it's two-handed chest pass here. So it's the same technique as Rocket. All right. So again, shuffle. Okay. And then if he's out, you're in. A lot of times he'll probably be flying out of there if you're having success with Rocket. So shuffle, and then that way you're kind of getting your power lift there. Okay. Now, the other thing that we can do with this, so that's how we'd run it weak here. The other thing we can do is we can make a load call, which I like this because you can change who you're optioning. Okay. you can, it takes a lot of reps to run a triple option, but a double option like this is a little safer. So we can change up who we read. Like if you got this guy flying out now or coming up the field to blow up the rocket and you can't get him blocked, this would be a good way to do it. If you can't block him, then read him. So what we're going to do here is we're going to make a load call. We're going to block him down. Okay. Everybody else doing the same thing here, and we're optioning him now. So the guard's going to have to pull a little bit wider. Okay. And now it's shuffle, shuffle. He's in, you pitch it out. He's out, you're in. There you go. So speed option. Now I'm going to show you a film. Now it's not film of us running it because again we didn't run it. It's a team that was on the schedule, and they ran something very similar. Some of my mechanics would be a little bit different. We're going to do the two-hand chest pass. We're not going to underhand flip it like they do. I don't like that. I'd rather do my two-hand chest pass. But the quarterback's footwork's the same. It's shuffle, shuffle, and then make your decision. And then we're going to pull our guard rather than pulling the tackle like they do. So let's get you the speed option here. All right, so now if we're running this from empty, this fullback would be out here, and then our two guys would be here at slots. So that's how you would do it. If they stay in this 4-4, depending on where he goes, if he stays in, then the slot will block him. If he's out wide, then the wide man will block him. The middle receiver will block him. But really, you got a lot of numbers here on the perimeter. That's why speed option would be really good against these guys. Okay, so you see the motion. Now, one thing you'll see that they do that I like is that they gear it down a little bit. I mean, he's not flying out of here like we do on our rocket. He's gearing it down a little bit so that we can have a good pitch relationship. All right, quarterback's going to shuffle, shuffle, and he's kind of more running. I think he's made his mind up, but I want our quarterbacks to shuffle, shuffle, and then either pitch or keep. So this end step down, he's going to pitch it. It's a way to get a little bit of an option football without having to commit to running the full-fledged triple option. So speed option is our way to run power out of empty. Now, for a little bonus footage here, if you wanted to run straight up quarterback power, you don't want to run option, you want to run straight up QB power. I mean, for instance, let's say you go empty on the goal line. You certainly could do that. There's no reason you couldn't. And you want to run straight up QB power. Well, then it'd have to be a flat motion, which that's not most of what we do. That's why I don't really like it. But you can do it if you're bound and determined to run power. I am sometimes bound and determined to run power. You're going to motion here to probably about the inside of the B gap, particularly against an odd front. You can get a little bit wider versus an even front. Okay, we're going to arc to the safety here because this guy, our kick out could be this guy, so I don't want to have him tied up in the guard or in the kick out man, not have anybody in block. So I don't want to do that. And plus, that if he sees an arc release, he should be flying out of there because we run the rocket so much. All right, so we're kicking out here, guard pulling here. Quarterback's just going to have a step and go. Yep. So there's your quarterback power. If you really want to run power, you can do that. That's kind of the bonus footage here. Again, it's not what you normally do, so you're going to have to think of things like you can, flat motion. And you can flat motion him and then run quarterback tray if you really want to. So here, delete some of this stuff. So yeah, you're going to have to figure out stuff to do with this if you want to run quarterback power, because otherwise they're going to kind of be onto it real soon. So if you want to run quarterback tray, you can block here. And this will be good. This quarterback tray with this motion will be nice because then you can cut off the backside a little bit. You don't have to make your BAM call. Block, kick here, lead up, and then he's going to fill. Quarterback, just take your step, and then back the other way. So you can run, quarterback counter as well with that motion. So I mean, it all depends on who your personnel is and what you want to do, and situations too. If you're on the goal line, then yeah, maybe you want to run your straight quarterback power. That's not a bad idea. All right, so that's a complete running game out of empty. We have a play for each gap. We have our A gap trap or B gap ISO. C gap is our speed option or power. And we have our toss play, which gets to the perimeter, and then we have our counter play with the tray. Complete run game out of empty.